one of the things, obviously, that we're dealing with when we talk about digital media is it's not, the measurement system is different. When we had television and you could tell somebody that a television show got 1 million viewers, advertisers understood that. Now we're in a system where we have to figure out what the value is of a tweet or of a like on Facebook or 10 YouTube views, what the value of these things is. So have we figured out, or how are we going to figure out what success looks like on the web so that advertisers can understand it?
I'll take that one. So yeah, I'm big into analytics. We have a 6-person team within our house that does that, that's led by a data scientist. So all of our platforms, generally, we try to tie together as many, the big 3, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, but now we're even with Cineku, we're going into Tumblr, Pinterest, Instagram, and scraping a lot of that data, putting it through like a weight and analytics to find predictive models, add machine learning. So for me, audience is equity. It's my equity. And that's what I'm always looking to build, is how can we build more equity and look at audiences like what kind of audience member, what kind of equity are they? Are they lurkers? Are they fans? Are they super fans? Are they evangelists? Are they the whales in my casino? And the more that we understand this, and this is where moving forward, different from, say, a newspaper or a billboard, which can't be measured, I can actually measure things at quite a granular level. And it's not about how many likes or how many followers. You can actually buy that. I'm not really interested in that. What I'm interested in is sentiment, reach, churn, lifetime value, those kind of things that we prescribe to finding that equity. And my big thing is if you get the eyeballs, you can monetize them very easily in all different kinds of ways.
Is this a tool that I can buy?
Not yet. No, we are internally working on a tool that we're going to give to creative stakeholders. Part of the issue with it is finding a way to create meaningful, actionable metrics for people that they can actually drive business decisions. So we just invested in a lot of data visualization to be able to let creative stakeholders talk more anecdotally about that kind of stuff. And again, really targeting. For me, it's not about like the web being a video store that you just make $1 because somebody subscribed to it. You can make money that way. But it's about, I believe, he who has the database or she who has the database wins. I also, to that point, looking at how to reduce marketing and P&A spends from this big spaghetti on the wall shotgun approach where we put this much here and this much in billboards and this much in bus stations, to really gleaning as much intelligence as you can to be a sniper. It's not that we don't use newspapers, it's that how do we use them most effectively? So I can turn $1 million into marketing spend into $20 million worth of value in terms of conversion.
And you just hit on something really, really big, which is what advertisers do look for, which is, and everybody throws around the term ROI. Nobody really knows what it means. That's my other favorite part. But it's literally, how do you create a dashboard, create the measure of success for whatever content play that you're putting in market, and how do you literally prove out and measure things that are the intangibles. So it's that social media, but what's it actually doing? What's the consumer behavior? It's also, what's your earned media? Canada's Best Beauty Talent, we got pickup in 26 countries around the world from a PR perspective in terms of media coverage. We ended up delivering, we were able to measure it right down to, for every $100 that L'Oreal spent, they got $369 back. But there's no one, maybe except you have it, Jay, there's no one research group or piece of information where you can get that stuff from, right? Like you literally need to be pretty creative and start out with, okay, what's the story I'm trying to prove out? And how do you take all of this data that comes in, put it together into what's the story that I'm actually telling? Actually, it was interesting, Catherine, because when you were telling us about, what was the mispronunciation of the show?
Guidestones.
Oh, Guildstones. When you were telling us about Guildstones, your issue is that you've got an incredible consumer engagement story. You just don't have a way of telling it.
No, that's right. I mean, we have, just in the little clip you saw, each time somebody goes out to, is Jay still in the room? He left.
No, he's back there.
Oh, yes. We have no, and there's Jonas too. We have no way of capturing, do we know how many people are visiting those websites and all that other content? Oh, we do. But do you sell, you're not selling against it though? No. Okay. But that's, I guess the point being is that that's why I was so interested in Jay's tool, is we are now in the business of delivering content in a traditional fashion, through broadcast, through direct web, through social media, through all of these different platforms. We're gathering data, but producers generally don't have the wherewithal or the training to turn that into money, and that's really the next piece. That's the missing link.
And the challenge also is about building a new market, right?
Right.
Like it's about, it's not just about, it's so important to know what those metrics are, because there's new markets, new platforms, and new formats that are asserting themselves, as we're finding on a project that we're collaborating on right now, another web series that Zenophile's producing, that Catherine's the executive producer of, called Anxietyville. And this is an example of something where we're learning from the successes and problems you've encountered already and your distribution activities.
Or you should say, though, Anxietyville, it does not lend itself to brand.
No, not easily.
Give them the pitch.
Well, it's the story of 6 urban neurotics who find themselves leading lives of technologically accelerated paranoia, and they discover that the reason the world feels so unreal is because they don't actually live in the real world at all, but they've been selected as ideal consumers in a consumer marketing survey, and they've actually left the box checked that allows the company to upload their conscious minds into a computer-generated simulation that's been built to test consumer products. And when a lazy temp enters a virus into the system, reality goes to hell. So
That's good.
it's a satire of marketing.
And so marketers are probably lining up for
obviously
this.
there's going to be some problems finding the right marketing partners.
There is a brand out there that
Somewhere.
wants to make fun of itself. We
Yes.
haven't found it yet. But
This might seem like an obvious question, but in Canada, you know, what's the appetite among the buyers for web content? Who's buying, you know, digital content or digital video content?
can I answer that? Here's the thing. We have the most supportive, I would say, forward-thinking group of government agencies or semi-government groups that fund the content in the interactive world. And for this, every day, I thank my lucky stars for having been born Canadian,
Hear, hear.
because it doesn't exist anywhere else. So that's point number one. So we are creating, you go to these conferences, Patrick and I were and Jonas were at Power to the Pixel in London. The most interesting work is coming from Canadian interactive producers like us. It's really, I mean, we're absolutely world class. The NFB also, I'm sure Deborah Drizzle's in here, fantastic work. But here's the problem. There is not one single company, not Rogers, not Shaw, not Bell, not Yahoo Canada, not MSN Canada, am I missing anybody? Interested in showing originally created interactive content in this country. We are better known in the US with Guidestones on Hulu. We are better known in Europe than we are in our own country. And this is, to me, if you're all producers, I don't know what the profile is, this is the work that needs to be done. We need to, because we don't have CanCon requirements on alternative platforms, and because the CRTC is not going to impose regulation, and I'm not suggesting they should, because I wish that those platforms would see the benefit of promoting great Canadian content just because it is great Canadian content, and guess what? Audiences will come to it if there's an environment where it's being shown. The problem is right now there is no environment for original web series and interactive content on any of these platforms that are mostly focused on Rogers VOD, on Hollywood movies or whatever. So that's the work I think that needs to be done in Canada right now. That's the missing piece for us.
Yeah. And the challenge, there's a certain advantage to this situation insofar as, you know, we've got this.
We're under the radar.
Yeah, well, there's that. But I was going to say, you know, we've got great resources that we can leverage internationally, which is why many Canadian companies have done well internationally. But you've often got this reverse engineering thing where you'll get interest abroad, and then it's a matter of, well, how do we check the box now to get the Canadian distribution?
Well, it's interesting. On another project, I shouldn't say there is absolutely no interest, because I have to say, I don't know if Raja is still in the room, but Byte TV has actually been one of the few companies in Canada to really stick their necks out on some Canadian content in the comedy area especially. So we're doing a UK-Canada co-production funded by the IPF with Byte TV. We pre-sold to FearNet in the US, and our partner in the UK is Baby Cow, Steve Coogan's company. So we've got a great lineup of partners. My concern about Byte will be that they don't necessarily have the platform presence that a Yahoo or Canada or an MSN or Bell or would have. I mean, they're going to do their best. They're going to, you know, they have an audience, but it's not the big, deep traffic that you can get on one of these other platforms. So I should say, I do want to mention that Byte has been and also hopefully on Anxietyville.
Yes,
so.
please, Scott.